guys, welcome back to Study Room. This is your English tutor. So today we are going to do chapter 5, The Summit Within. We have done already chapter 4 till chapter 4 with a lot of poems in it. And today also we have a story and a poem. So let's begin. First, as every story now you know that we first talk about the author. Born in 1936, Major H.P.S. Ahluwalia was an Indian Army officer and mountaineer. He was the 21st person in the world to climb Mount Everest. So I'm sure you all know that the highest peak of the world, Mount Everest. So he's basically the 21st person in the world to climb this highest peak. He was born in 1936 and H.P.S. Ahluwalia is a major who is an Indian Army officer and mountaineer. So mountaineer is the person who climbs mountains. Now the themes in the story, The Summit Within. The Summit Within is the story of a real life incident told in the first person narrative by the author. So first person narrative is when the person itself is narrating the story. Like if I am telling my own story to you, it's a first person narrative. So this is also a real life incident told by him himself. Though it is specifically about the achieving of climbing Mount Everest, the story covers the feeling of satisfaction we get from our struggles. So it's about the author who has basically climbed Mount Everest and his satisfaction, but it also gives us a proud moment to celebrate our struggles and to feel what it goes through. Of all the emotions which surged through me, okay, so before we start the story, just see it again. The Summit Within. Of all the emotions which surged through me as I stood on the summit of Everest, looking over miles of panorama below us, the dominant one I think was humility. The physical in me seemed to say, thank God it's all over. So here the story starts with a very impactful emotional line says, thank God it's all over. And you know, here when he stood on the summit is basically the highest peak of the Everest, he looked below and it was beautiful. The panorama of God, the panorama of nature, and all he thought was humility. And the inside of him said, thank God it's all over because the struggle was hard, because it wasn't easy till now. Every day felt really hard. However, instead of being jubilant, there was a tinge of sadness. Was it because I had already done the ultimate in climbing and there would be nothing higher to climb and all roads thereafter could lead down? So how much ever happy he was, there was also sadness. And you must be wondering why. Why would anybody be sad after achieving such a big thing? Because now he had nothing more to look upwards. He just thought, now I don't have anything to go up for. Now everything would lead me down towards the roads. By climbing the summit of Everest, you are overwhelmed by a deep sense of joy and thankfulness. It is a joy which lasts a lifetime. The experience changes you completely. The man who has been to mountains is never the same again. It's the same thing, right? When you were in 3rd or 4th class and you just stop the class, the feeling is perfect. So for everybody, it's a different thing. For everybody, achievement has a new definition. For him, this joy was when he topped or when he reached the summit of Everest. And this joy remains with us forever. Even when we go and get married or have children, we tell them, remember in 4th class, I topped the class. Exactly. The experience changes you. The experience makes you feel about yourself. So it's never the same again. As I look back at life after climbing Everest, I cannot help remarking about the other summit. The summit of the mind, no less formidable and no easier to climb. So when he looks back at his life and thinks about when he climbed the Everest, he thinks about all the other summits, all the other peaks that he climbed, and nothing was easy. Everybody or everything had a tough road, but it all felt nice at the end of the day. Even when getting down from the summit, once the physical exhaustion had gone, I began myself the question why I had climbed Everest. Why did the act of reaching the summit have such a hold on my imagination? So when he was climbing down and his tiredness was slowly decreasing, he asked himself, why did I actually want to reach there? Why was it so important to me? It was already a thing of the past, something done yesterday. With every passing day, it would become more remote, and then what would remain? Would my memories also fade slowly away? So now, after you've come down, it's become of yesterday. Nothing is of today, right? With every passing day, you know that other people will climb, your thing will decrease. But what did you do for yourself is what matters. All these thoughts led me to a question myself as to why people climb mountains. It is not easy to answer the question. The simplest answer would be because it is there. It presents great difficulties. Man takes delight in overcoming obstacles. So, now when he's down and when he's climbed the Everest, he thinks that why will people climb mountains, right? And as everybody, he also answers the same thing because mountains exist and I love fighting obstacles. The obstacles in climbing a mountain are physical. A climb to a summit means endurance, persistence, and willpower. The demonstration of this physical qualities is no doubt exhilarating, and it was for me also. So he says, just like the other people, and you need power, you need strength, and the physical capabilities and the exhausting is so high. For just like other people, even he had a share, even he felt tired. I have a more personal answer to the question. So now, other than the people, he has a personal answer to why he wanted to be at the Everest. From my childhood, I have been attracted by mountains. I had been miserable, lost when away from mountains and the plains. Mountains are nature at its best. Their beauty and majesty pose a great challenge. And like many, I believe that mountains are a means of communion with God. So he says that from my childhood I've been very attracted to mountains. Whenever I used to go to plains, I used to feel very upset and didn't feel nice. Because these mountains, they make me feel that I'm connected to God. They make me feel that I'm the highest way. Once having granted this, the question remains, why Everest? Because it is the highest, the mightiest, and has defied many previous attempts. It takes the last ounce of one's energy. It is a brutal struggle with rock and ice. The same thing, that it's the obstacle that anyone wants to fight and prove that you can do anything in this world. You can achieve it. Once taken up, it cannot be given up halfway, even when life is at stake. The passage back is as difficult as the passage onwards. And then when the summit is climbed, there is exhilaration, the joy of having done something, the sense of battle fought and won. There is a feeling of victory and of happiness. So he's expressing, that it's not easy that once you climb, everything is over. Even when you're coming down, it's very tough. And the photo that you're seeing is of his and his friends. So, it's not easy to go. And once you're there, even at halfway, you cannot think of coming back. Either you can go at the top or you can just risk your life there. So it is about victory. It is about winning something. The will. You say that when you want to do something, you will just make it. That as well. Glimpsing a peak in the distance, I get transported to another world. I experience a change within myself, which can only be called mystical. By its beauty, aloofness, might, ruggedness, and the difficulties encountered, the peak draws me to it, as Everest did. It is a challenge that is difficult to resist. So he says how mountains have always attracted. What's in the mountains that actually make him so transport to the another world, and why he wanted to be there. Looking back, I find that I have not yet fully explained why I climbed Everest. It is like answering a question why you breathe. You do not know the exact answer, you just know you have to do it. Why do you help your neighbor? Why do you want to do good acts? There is no final answer possible. And then there is the fact that Everest is not just a physical climb. The man who has been to the mountain top becomes conscious in a special manner of his own smallness in the large universe. The feeling of just climbing the Everest is what he knows, is what he's trying to express and tell us. So just try to explain that. The physical conquest of a mountain is only one part of the achievement. There is more to it. It is followed by a sense of fulfillment. There is the satisfaction of a deep urge to rise above one's surrounding. It is the eternal love for adventure. The experience is not merely physical, it is emotional, it's spiritual. So, we may just think that it's just the physical force that takes you there. But no, he says there's so much more to it. There's a sense of victory. You feel complete after reaching there. Your love for adventure is fulfilled. You get emotional. You get connected to God. Consider a typical climb towards the summit on the last heights. You're sharing a rope with another climber. So he's actually sharing his experience, guys. You foreman. He cuts the steps in the hard ice. Then he belays and you inch your way up. The climb is grim. You strain every nerve as you take. So he says how when one of your friends is climbing and you behind it, you sharing a rope, you cut the ice and the difficulties, but it's there. You have to just take it. Every step is every nerve. Famous climbers have left records of the help given by others. They have also recorded how they needed just that help. Else they might have given up. Breathing is difficult. You curse yourself for having let yourself in for this. You wonder why you ever undertook the action. So he says that a lot of people need help and it's not wrong, because to climb you need somebody's hand, you need the motivation. Because as you start reaching, you can't breathe and you start thinking, why would I just do this? Why did I come here? Why am I risking my life? There are moments when you feel like going back. It would be sheer relief to go down instead of up, but almost at once you snap out of that mood. There's something in you that does not let you give up the struggle and you won't. Even when we're studying a lot and we just think, no, yeah, let's just give up. No, but there's something in you that wants you to top and you just want to keep reading and studying. That's how he felt. Your companion keeps up with you. The motivation that I was talking, just another 50 feet or 100, you ask yourself, is there no end? You look at your companion and he looks at you. You draw inspiration from each other. And then, without first being aware of it, you are at the summit. Both of you start motivating each other, saying, just more 50 guys, just more 100. And you inspire, you motivate, you encourage, and you are at the top. Looking around from the summit, you tell yourself that was worthwhile. When you reach at the top and you see the mountains, the panorama of the nature, you're relieved. You know why you did this. Other silvery peaks appear through the clouds. If you're lucky, the sun may be on them. The surrounding peaks look like a jeweled necklace around the neck of your summit. Below you see vast valleys sloping into the distance. It is an ennobling, enriching experience to just look down from the summit of a mountain. You bow down and make your obeisance to whichever god you worship. So he's telling about the feelings when he went up there, and when you see from there, you look down and it's beautiful, it's inexpressible, and you worship your God because you're thankful to him that you reached here. I left on Everest a picture of Guru Nanak. Rawat left a picture of goddess Durga. Fudorji left a relic of the Buddha. So how his friends and different gods? Edmund Hillary had buried a cross under a cairn in the snow. These are not symbols of conquest, but of reverence, of honor, of pleasure, of happiness. The experience of having climbed to the summit changes you completely. There's another summit, it is within yourself. So he says once you reach there, there's some spark that is in yourself. It is in your own mind. Each man carries within himself is his own mountain peak. He must climb it to the reach to a fuller knowledge of himself. It's fearful and unscalable. Now he says that there is a summit in us, among us, in our souls, which is to basically achieve that success point in our lives. It cannot be climbed by anyone else. You yourself have to do it. Guys, this is very important to know, and it's a good motivation that he's giving us, that we are the one who can achieve our dreams. Somebody can just encourage or motivate us, but to reach there, you need yourself. The physical act of climbing to the summit outside is akin to the act of climbing the mountain within. The effects of both the climbs are the same. It's tough, but it's nice. So here is a picture of he meeting the Prime Minister then. Whether the mountain you climb is physical or emotional and spiritual, the climb will certainly change you. It teaches you much about the world and about yourself. I venture to think that my experience as an Everester has provided me with the inspiration to face life's ordeals resolutely. Climbing the mountain was a worthwhile experience. The conquest of the internal summit is equally worthwhile. The internal summits are perhaps higher than Everest. And he's now telling us that the experience is inexpressible. It has given me inspiration. But to all of us who don't dream of climbing the Everest, but there's some summit inside us that we need to fulfill. The key terms: surged, arose suddenly and intensely; panorama, view of a wide area; jubilant, very happy because of success; tinge, trace or shade; exhaustion, fatigue and tiredness; exhilarating, very exciting; communion, state or feeling of close relationship; defied, resisted; mystical, spiritual; firm and make yourself firm; belace, fixes a rope; accent, climb; make your obeisance, show your obedience; ordeals, painful experiences. Now let's discuss. Standing on Everest, the writer was jubilant and sad, right? The emotion that gripped him was victory over hurdles, humility and a sense of smallness, joy of discovery. Victory over hurdles. What are the three qualities that played a major role in Arthur's climb? His power, obviously the physical, the will to do something, and the spiritual belief. Why is adventure, which is risky, also pleasure? Because in the end, when you achieve, there's a sense of victory. You thank the God. There's a pleasure. There's a sense of happiness that you can't express. What was it about Mount Everest that the author found irresistible? The panorama of nature, the way you communicate to God, the way you're up above. One does not do it for fame alone. What does one do it for really? It does it for its own pleasure, for its happiness, to fulfill your own achievement and feel proud. He becomes conscious in a special manner of his own smallness in this large universe. This awareness defines an emotion mentioned in the first paragraph. Which is the emotion? So let's read the line again. He becomes conscious in a special manner of his own smallness. He knows, the emotion is of happiness, the emotion of being sad, and how small you are in this large universe. There are many people who have climbed there. It's not something that you've done. What were the symbols of reverence left by members of the team on Everest? Different members, as we read, left different symbols of God. Like he left Guru Nanak's memory. What, according to the writer, did his experience as an Everester teach him? It taught him how spiritual belief, power, emotional power, and the will to do anything can be achieved. It taught him how this world is so small in the front of what we actually do every day. How we all have a summit within ourselves.